Before I took up diving, I used to often dream of flying. But after I took up diving, I no longer dreamed of it because I had flown.
Divers, they're young people generally. Nearly all the divers are young people. Either that or people that are interested in other sports, people that are rock climbers, that are skiers, that are parachute jumpers.
Going underwater for the first time, to really exist underwater, is to be born again, because you have to learn to see again, you have to learn to breathe again, and with the flippers you have to learn, it's just like learning to walk all over again, so that everything you've learned on land stands you to very little avail.
I think diving is a sensation sport. It's not a spectator sport because there are things that happen when you dive that you can't describe. Getting used to wearing diving suits and all the encumbering gear, it makes it look a very awkward, unpleasant sort of sport. But once you get in, all this weight, all the tanks and the constriction of the suit and all this completely disappear.
It always impressed me, this tremendous feeling of weightlessness and freedom from gravity.
This feeling of being completely detached, of being suspended almost. You can follow the bottom, you slide over rocks, you can turn over on your back. And then all around this silence, but it's an elusive, it's actually a false silence because you realize that life and death sort of goes on there too. When I first went down, I had this feeling of returning to an element which was very, very familiar to me.
This feeling of timelessness. Life underwater goes on and on. It's the diver who brings the element of time because he's dependent on his air supply. When this is exhausted, he has to return to his own world.
Biologists now are starting to realize that they have been relying on fishing gear that sort of grabs things here and there. And a fisherman, he wants a smooth, sandy bottom that won't hang up his nets. That drags, nets, and trawls can only be operated in water that is generally not interesting to a diver. A diver likes a rocky, irregular bottom that's full of nooks and crevices where animals can hide. So divers who are interested in biology are making really significant discoveries. They're finding animals in numbers that were never found before.
Their coffee with their thumb. Yeah, yeah. My lover was a logger. There's none like him today. If you poured whiskey on him, he would eat a bale of hay. Yeah, yeah. Well, he never shaved his whiskers from off his hoary hide. And do them off inside.
Divers are a strange breed of people. Whenever divers gather, you'll find people with the same basic courage or curiosity. You look at the crowd and you think, my God, how similar these people are to me. To sit around and discuss the things that have happened to you underwater that you found interesting, and to hear what the other divers have found interesting is absolutely fascinating. For instance, I've heard divers talk about things that they've observed, behavior of animals, octopus, wolf eels, this sort of thing, that the foremost zoologists and biologists have never observed and will never be able to observe.
The octopus will generally go out at night. It's just like animals in the woods. They're more active at night, all of them, particularly the octopus. And it will go out and roam around at night, and it collects clams and mussels, particularly crabs, if there are any crabs in the area.
They're very intelligent, I'm told, and by looking in their eyes, you can see the intelligence there.
The shells are just pushed out the front door. It apparently drags them back and it eats them very carefully. It doesn't break the shells. So when you're looking for an octopus, you look for little piles of shells outside the hole.
I wouldn't feel too happy about going down by myself because so many things can happen. But when you're diving with someone else, this other person can notice that something's going wrong with you and pull you up out of this danger.
This, perhaps, is the reason that divers are unlike any other kind of people you'll ever find. Because when they work together underwater, it's not just company on a job, it's somebody whom your life depends on at all times. Underwater, when accidents happen, the difference between life and death may be just seconds. Working together underwater, people live very close to the center of life itself.
water like green mint jelly, anemones like great frayed mushrooms, red-banded rockfish, greenlings, perch, red snapper, box crabs, sea cucumbers, sun stars, blood stars, sea pens, sea urchins. The wolfeel is a lethargic fish. It won't bother you if left alone, but if you molest it, it could dart out and bite. You have to drug the wolfeel before it's safe to capture it. And even then, you don't pull it out with your hands. Although I feel that I belong in this underwater world, really I'm intruding because eventually I have to surface. You can't really blame the fish for getting annoyed. This is their world. Some people feel a tremendous revulsion towards things like wolf eels and octopus. I don't feel this way at all because in nature there's neither ugliness nor beauty. It's man that judges things and calls them ugly or beautiful.
Could I have with a quinaldine and the nut squeeze bottle?
There are probably a great many more octopus here than we ever see. They're a very hard animal to find, and they can change color instantly. It can turn almost any shade of red or reddish brown right through to a dead white, a shell color. A very big octopus can just ooze through a crack, perhaps the size of your fist or a little smaller. And this way he can get insinuated in little cracks and crevices.
You can be swimming down and looking into a cave, and a pair of eyes will look right back out. You know, it's just very similar to looking through a keyhole and finding an eye on the other side. The way we capture them is we take an irritant, generally copper sulfate, and emit a cloud of sulfate immediately in front of the cave until he realizes that as fast as he blows it out, it's coming back in, and finally he'll come out and have a look around. You have to be extremely careful in handling octopus, not only not to damage the creature, but not to damage yourself. They can get your harness half off and your mask flooded and your mouthpiece out before you even know what's happened. You wonder who's capturing who. I like to think that these are the same kind of people that pushed west, because actually divers are going down and they're opening new frontiers. They say that space is the last frontier. I think that the underwater world is the last frontier here on Earth.